Witcher Season 2 has arrived, and what a wonderful treat over the Christmas break. While I was on vacation, while I could get internet on the stupid satellite piece of shit, I was watching Witcher Season 2. And I will start by saying our sponsor today is you guys. Thank you very much. Consider directly supporting our channel with a Patreon or YouTube join button. It helps us against demonetization and helps us bring you these extra reviews. So thank you so much for supporting the Angry Joe Show over 2021 and into 2022. So let's say Witcher Season 2. I freaking loved it. Now, when I was reading on several stuff, I see some people are like, well, I'm mixed on it, or I don't really like it, or it changes things from the books. And, I mean, it already kind of changes a little bit of things, and it sort of continues to do that here. But I got to say, I freaking loved it. I actually think it's probably... It's on par with Season 1, and maybe in many ways better than Season 1. At least I think so. Certainly individual episodes rise to the top. There is, some filler and some things where it's not running on all cylinders, but for the most part, these 8 episodes really were awesome for me, and it reminded very much at times of the Witcher 3 game. Very different from the game, but we do get some of the Ciri training stuff. Now, the video game did it way better.
Yes, obviously.
Right, obviously. And but, some of that is here. And they also incorporate some of the several short stories from the books into this. The only thing that I wish we would have got more, and it's kind of too late for it now, maybe, and they do a little bit of it in this season, is like individual Geralt stories. You know what I mean? Without this Ciri plot. Because right now we are 100%, everything is fucking focused on Ciri. You know what I mean? And I just wanted a little bit more Geralt-centered stuff. And you get that, actually, in an amazing opening episode. One of the best of the season in episode 1.
A grain of truth.
Yeah, Grain of Truth. And this was actually taken from one of the short stories, and it almost kind of feels a little separate from the rest of the thing. I mean, you could kind of take out the overall plot and have this like side thing going on. And so I really like this particular one. But before we get into the individual episode breakdowns, and we'll give you scores for each one, I want to hear your guys' opinion. So I really, really like Season 2. I think maybe it's better than Season 1. What did you think?
For me, I thought this was great, but I still like Season 1 way better.
Do you? Okay.
This one, for me, it's kind of some of these tropey things in the writing. It was like, hey, you should have just said this. You didn't have to like do stupid shit. A lot of stupid shit was done. I was like, that just
stupid shit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But it's like that's just kind of out of character.
Yeah.
And like you said, it really focuses on Ciri. But you know who my favorite is, but it kind of took a back seat. But overall, I thought it was a great one.
Who's your favorite, Joe? Just so I can make sure.
Oh, yeah, no, you might have heard of him, Henry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he does. Does take a little bit of a backseat. He does talk more in this one.
Yeah.
And more than some grunts, even though he's got some grunts in there.
Fuck.
So you like Season 1 better? Okay,
Yes.
Interesting. What about you, Alex?
Yeah, I definitely like Season 1 better. This one, I with the exception of the first episode, I don't know what. I just kind of constantly got sucked out of this season. There was some cringy writing. There was they definitely employed some of the things that I have as pet peeves in writing, where it's like two characters, one character knows something and one character doesn't, and human beings would just talk about stuff, the most important things in their life, and they don't to drive plot because they apparently don't know how to write anything. There's some serious character assassinations. Serious character assassinations.
See, that's what I like. Now I'm starting to consider my position, because there were episodes here that got so good, but then there are like,
is
whoa.
so good.
Yeah.
And I was so on board, and then it just starts to dwindle. And I don't hate this season. I love the Witcher world. My buddy gave me some of the books. I've started reading them. I really enjoy, most of what I'm seeing in there. And so I'm not as passionate as the people. Like, I've read every single book, but it's like, look, I've played the games. I've read some of the books. I like some of the stuff going on here. They just need to have someone else assist in the writing.
Yes.
Because there's some serious things here that just are unacceptable. There's one scene where they're like, Kaer Morhen is secret and hidden, and we don't tell anyone where it is. because we lost all the Witchers, and in the very next scene, prostitute party, everyone's allowed here because
But don't worry, they'll
I
forget by
saw
the
that.
morning.
Yeah, they'll forget in the morning. It's like, look,
They
there's
hit
just
someone with
stupid shit
stingers.
like
They have
that.
Will Smith little
Yeah.
mind wipes as they exit.
It's like,
And then,
You could tell these writers aren't on par with some book readers, and even Henry Cavill. No, it feels like he
Well, like-
respects it more than the
yeah,
writers
I don't
do.
know anything. I haven't read the books, but this just
Well-
seemed off because I was like, okay, nobody's supposed to know. It's like, hey, you know the fucking rules.
Season
What the fuck are
1
you
was
doing?
based on The Last Wish and the Sword of Destiny. But this season 2, is based on A Grain of Truth from The Last Wish. That was that little short story, which I thought was the best episode, if amongst the best. And then this one was Blood of Elves, and then the beginning of Time of Contempt. So, unfortunately, it does have to rely on a little bit of the books, and frankly, there's not a lot of action in some of these books that we're doing over season 2. And I think what they try to do is up the monster count, and so sometimes it feels like, oh well, every episode he's got to fight a
Monster
monster,
of the week
kind of
stuff,
monster of
definitely.
the week stuff. But you know what? I'd rather him do that than not fight any monsters at all, because I do like seeing him drink the potions and do
Yeah.
the mutagens and fight against the monsters, and he does a wonderful job in it. So I can see what you're saying. Yeah, the writing is probably the weakest part of season 2, and I think I almost am certain that as we go into season 3, it's going to get better. Especially, Henry Cavill even is contributing parts, because we got to talk about it.
someone has to read the book on that set because no one else did.
Yeah.
This woman sat down with IGN and said,
Well,
hey, I do not have to invent content like they do with Game of Thrones. I have all of these books. I'm going to stick with them. And apparently she forgot she said that.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if I should talk about spoil. Well, let's do a separate section for that. I will talk because she does make changes that pissed off some fans, especially with Eskel. You can even say Yennefer, huge one.
Vesemir.
I still can't get
Ves-
over the casting of Trish.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, Joe. Let's also talk about this.
I
Me
can't.
Too.
I'm
I
trying.
can't do it.
I'm trying.
I can't do it. I tried, and
Yeah.
the actress does the best she can. And honestly, in the book content, she doesn't really have much to do in Trish. But they try to, expand her role here, and I'm not on board because of the video games.
Yeah.
I just think things are miscast. Pretty much, there's a lot of miscasting. Over
Yes.
time, I've gotten used to Ciri. Geralt nails it. That's a 10 out of 10. But unfortunately, Yennefer, I think, has come into her own. But it's still a little
It's
bit
kinda
with
like,
Yennefer
okay,
coming
I'll
back.
give you like a
Triss,
pass.
nope, you done
I'll
fucked
give
it
you a
up.
pass.
Dandelions also for
Yasker.
me, 10,
I like
10 out of 10.
Dandelion,
Oh, yeah,
10 out of
for
10.
sure.
Vesemir, I wish, wasn't there rumors of like people wanted Mark Hamill,
Hamill, yeah.
and I keep seeing Mark Hamill there instead of him, and I said Mark would have done such a better job.
Well, of
I
course,
did
but-
not like Vesemir, and some of
I
the
thought he was
costumes
fine.
are a little hokey. Like they
The
have like
styrofoam armor?
the armor, the pauldrons or whatever, are 2 inches too long. They just little things here and there. But I will say the writing is the problem I had the most in this. And did anybody notice? It started to annoy me how much they say fuck. They say fuck a lot in this. Too much. It
'Cause
doesn't
it's
really
cool,
work for
edgy.
me. Everyone says it. Even Neneki. That Geralt's sort of confidant. She taught him how to do the
magic.
signs and magic. She's even dropping f-bombs. Like everybody says, fuck, 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 fucking fuck. It's too much.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Battlestar Galactica where they said frack
All the
all the time. But in that word, it just felt appropriate. Here, it feels like they're
Just
trying to be
cool.
edgy,
We're hip with the
trying
cool
to be cool,
kids.
trying to be Game of Thrones. I just don't think they'd say it that much.
It's high school fan
It's
fiction,
as if,
it's like
it's as if every single character does say it, and it just feels like only a certain few characters should be saying it. So that kind of ruins it. Anyway,
also felt
I
like
also
for
wrote
me,
that
like
Triss
some
I
of
didn't
this
buy.
is like kind of slow paced. I don't know if y'all got that.
Oh, some of the storylines I just was like almost put to sleep. It's like,
Yeah.
please stop. I don't care.
So let's just go ahead and give you. I thought it was a good season. At moments, I'll take it back. At moments, better than season 1, but it does stumble at a few parts. And So let's go to final verdicts on overall season 1, and then we'll do the episode breakdown with the spoilers for those of you who haven't seen season 2 yet. I highly recommend you go out and see it. Henry Cavill's performance and moments that he adds himself. There's one particular moment with Roach that I'll talk about later that you could tell he just loves the source material and he's doing the best he can. The writing at times is a little weak. The individual stories about Geralt's backstory, that's when it's kind of very interesting. And then we have the propelling of Ciri. And if you know Ciri from the book, she's like very, very powerful and essentially the most powerful. It's like a weapon, right? And everybody wants Ciri by the end. And, and it's up to Geralt to protect her. So that's kind of what season 2 is about.
Fall in the wrong hands.
So let's go with final verdicts overall on season 2.
Overall, I'm torn between like an 8 or a 9. It's still great to watch. Is that too high for you?
You do you. I'm sorry.
Like, I really did enjoy it, but I still like the first one first. The writing, the pacing, the cast, some of it brought it down for me, and it just some of these episodes are just like you said, fillers. I would probably say like a 8, high 8.
Okay,
not quite 9, but 8.
There was no nakedness, no Henry and Tubbs in this one.
No nudity at all.
Boo!
Yeah.
Kidding.
Needs to up the nudity, is what you're saying? Okay,
No.
what'd you give it, Joe?
8.
Okay. Go ahead, Alex.
I think that there was too many of these side storylines that just didn't resonate with me. I love shows with political intrigue. I actually am familiar with these kingdoms and they're them vying for power, just mainly from the games. And I just wasn't interested at all. We're focusing on characters.
Yep.
There's so much fringilla and it's just not.
Okay, yeah. If you don't give a shit about the elves in this universe, you're going to be bored for a lot of it.
Yeah, I don't think that storyline resonated with me at all. I understand it's
But this is from the books.
I understand it's important.
Blood of elves.
I just don't think they did a very good job with it for someone who's not. I was bored to tears with that storyline. It didn't go anywhere. We went from, and it's a huge, huge portion of the show. I think that they really did several main characters very dirty. There are people that their characters, important characters, just completely cast aside. There's all sorts of people that are just killed off for no reason. There's a lot of things here that I just don't think. If I didn't love the game so much and I wasn't enjoying what I'm reading so much, I would not watch season 3 at all.
wow.
I think that this is barely above average television. I loved episode 1, and it was just a downhill trek from there. Normally, this would be something I would start at night, watch half the season, and then finish it the next morning over breakfast. That's something that we like to do. And this, we broke it up over as many sessions as we could because we really didn't want to watch the next episode. I did it for work. So I'm giving this.
So unfortunate.
And I'm giving this a low 6. I think this is that is a lot of Witcher 3 beer goggles and like watching this. And I just really hope that they actually read the books and stop inventing shit and changing major characters. I heard her justification for some of the things that she did, and it's weak horseshit that only a bad writer with no imagination comes up with. Oh, I had to do this because of this situation. It's like, and then everyone on the internet's like, you're an idiot. These are hundreds of things you could do. So it's rough.
Joe just took a huge drink there. I disagree with you, Alex. I think I really did enjoy this. I thought at times this was better than the first season because I do. You say you didn't like the political intrigue, or there was missing here, not missing, but done poorly. And there are moments where it is. I have to admit that, especially with some characters. But I really like the world, and I'm about Witcher. I've played the games. I've read some of the books, though nowhere near as much as I should have. And I can after this series, but I think that this is its own aspect. And so seeing it take some different directions and risks with the characters, I'm for certain times and I'm against other times. And we can talk about those specific ones as we get into spoilers, but I think the political intrigue is there, but especially between the Brotherhood and these mages and, Fringilla with the Nilfgaardians and Kahir and the Emperor is up in here. This kind of reminds me, it kind of ends like with the way the video game ends with a revelation about Ciri, but without the cool wild hunt battle. I think they're saving that for a future book and for a future season. So we get a lot of the political intrigue. This is basically Ciri's training, Ciri's realization of how special she is and how powerful she is, and all of the different countries, factions, powerful people in the world realizing what's going on with Ciri, and then they are all like, and then Geralt's relationship with Ciri is really fleshed out here and explored, and he takes this sort of father figure to her, and I really like that relationship. I buy that relationship. By the end, she calls him father, and that stuff is just great for me. But see, Alex is right, and some of the stuff takes away from that because we're just spending a lot of time on some of those things that maybe the writing is not quite as strong to make it feel like all that political intrigue is there. But it is there ultimately. And while I disagree with some of the character decisions, I thought that it was entertaining enough. I kept wanting to watch the next episode. I was interested. I liked how they tried to do more monster battles when they could, a little bit more action that were in these particular books. There were action, but they tried to do a little bit more here. And yeah, I liked it overall. So I gave the first Witcher Season 1 an 8 out of 10. And this one, I think, has the potential to go to 9, but it does misstep several times. So I'm between 7, 8, 9. I think that Witcher Season 2, man, I could see it a 7, but I'm going to go with... I'm gonna do an 8 out of 10, just like the first season, because there are elements of this season that are better, the action and the monster hunting and the Ciri stuff, and then there are elements that are worse, Blood Elves and some of the other Witchers and Kaer Morhen, and I wish there was some better stuff there. And then the final climactic battle could have been a little bit better than what we got, unfortunately. So anyway, Season 2, I highly recommend you still watch it, and I think that it's going great places because I heard it's one of their best watches, one of their most popular shows. We're definitely getting a Season 3. The author is still writing books. So I think we're getting at least probably 5 seasons of The Witcher, and I'm excited for them. And I think maybe this one does a few missteps here and there.
They can correct it or something.
They can correct it. They're seeing the feedback.
You did?
I mean, Laura on Twitter, she's even defending certain decisions with Eskel. So she is engaged with the viewers. You remember the ball sack armor? They even made a ball sack joke. Did you see that?
I was gonna say Dandelion is like, man, I'm like a nymph, like I stink so bad, like
a ball sack of Nilfgaardian. So she's self-referential humor in there, and I think that she can react. I think yes, she made some few missteps here, but I think that with Henry's writing notes and then her writers maybe looking at it, we can get an even better Season 3. Because you're right, this material has the capability of hitting 10 out of 10, of hitting 9, and it feels like it's almost there. We just need it a little bit more. Yeah. So we'll go into individual episode breakdowns. Thank you so much.
Well,
yeah.
After
did I give my rating? It's 8 out of 10.
Yeah, 8 out of 10. After these episodes with the elves and stuff, I'm not really looking forward to the spin-off.
Oh, right. Did you see the spin-off trailer? We watched the spin-off trailer with Michelle Yeoh with the blood elves.
I don't know if I care about that, though.
I don't care about the elves. I really don't. I'm sorry. I'm here for Witchers.
That's why I was like,
I'm here for Henry.
Yep.
I'm here, even Yennefer and Ciri, that interest, and the Wild Hunt. I'm really here for that. So, but I'm not gonna watch that show, and I think Netflix is making a mistake. They think that this is like
they're like, no, we got to make as much money as we can,
as much money as we can. It's gonna be so popular. This is so popular. That will be popular.
Listen,
I think that show will fail, and I don't think that show will get multiple seasons. They need to be concentrating on budget to make the budget for Witcher better.
It was huge this season.
Make it even bigger. I don't give a fuck.
The production. The one thing about this season is the production value was excellent.
Yes. This season. And that's probably what's giving me this feeling like, man, it's better in parts. Okay, so let's go to individual breakdowns. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to us here on YouTube. If you want to go above and beyond, grab our Patreon down there. It'll help us out.
Sweet merch as well.
So let's do the episode breakdown. So episode 1 is the Grain of Truth. This fucking 9 out of 10, if not 10 out of 10. Oh, 10 I think it's 10 out of 10. Geralt, go ahead. Is one of y'all take it?
They're wandering through the snow. They notice
Nivellen, what's his name?
Yeah,
I think it's Nivellen.
Yeah, that sounds right. They're wandering through the snow. There's an almost abandoned village, and his Witcher sense is going off like crazy, like this isn't right. So they leave. They're like, we're not hanging around here. And then
It opens really good because you have no idea what's going on. Some villagers come in and fucking get murdered.
yeah.
And you're like, holy shit.
That's like,
Yeah.
all right, that's a great start.
And then they go to Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, that's what essentially it is. He has been cursed. He's been turned into like a warthog beast, and he's like, I do look different since you last seen me, Gerald. And it's you have. What I didn't understand, I was like, that's not a curse. He could fucking conjure whatever the fuck he wants. Did you notice that? He's got food. He's got fucking things. I'm like, damn, that's a pretty sweet curse. So I don't know. They kind of fucked that up.
Yeah.
But that's book material. Anyways, there's something in the background that Ciri and not so much Geralt, but Ciri's noticing and interacting with what she thinks is a cat or a pet or something like that, and it turns out that it is this fucking vampire lady thing that feeds on Nivellen every night and is a part of his curse.
Not just him, murdered everyone in that little village and all of the...
Yep.
Yeah, so it's kind of getting out of
He
control.
was in love.
Yeah, and he did some bad things. It's revealed by the end, and he tries to avoid it as best as he can because I'm like, this guy's hiding something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
for
he's
sure.
like, what's going on here? And he won't elaborate on what the curse is about, how to break the curse, all this other stuff. Turns out he fucking ransacked a temple and raped a priestess, and so he's like a fucking rapist, And at the end of this one, and I think the book is a little more morally gray. This one, they just like straight up leave him. They're like, later. He's like, no, kill me, or like that. This fucking sucks because he's. By the end, he still makes the right decision because the vampire lady, she has urges. And she feeds on him, and she literally killed an entire town. So while it's a sad story for her, because it seems like, she's trying to form a friendship with Ciri now, whether it's to gain her trust or whether she's truly scared of Geralt, it's actually all of it, because Geralt is a monster hunter. But it turns out she does attack, and it's Nivellen himself that manages to deliver the killing blow.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in tears, and his life is fucking ruined, and his curse dissipates, and Geralt and Ciri is just like, all right,
Later.
later, bye. No, he's like, no. He's like, no, we don't need somebody like this with us, a rapist.
No.
Very interesting story. Fucking cool take. Cool twist on Beauty and the Beast. No. And also during
hardcore.
this time, we forgot to mention Yennefer's storyline. So Geralt thinks Yennefer is dead after the season 1 climax.
And she lost her magic.
And she's lost her magic. She's taken by Fringilla as prisoner by the Nilfgaardians, even though she's like fucking murdered their entire army with her badass powers. And she, at the end of the episode, they're going through the forest, and she is fucking ambushed. Like big fucking pillars come out of nowhere, or what are those? The big arrows, basilisks.
Oh, the ballista?
Ballistas, or something, just taking people out. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
But I knew what it was. They're elves. You're up in the forest. You're gonna get fucked by elves.
I thought it was going to be a monster. I was like, oh, that's cool. I want to see another monster. I was like, elves.
Siege
Like,
engine monster?
yes, that'd be fucking amazing.
So that episode, 10 out of 10 for me. What about y'all?
No, same. I really like that one.
Okay, we're going on to episode 2. This one is called
Kaer Morhen.
Kaer Morhen. Okay, so we finally see Kaer Morhen. Kaer Morhen's way cooler in the anime, unfortunately. You remember the animated movie? I highly recommend you go out and see. Yes, more of those, Netflix. The Blood Elves? Nah, we need more of those animated ones where they do crazy shit with the powers and the animation. Blood elves. Anyways, episode 2 is focused more on the elves. This is where the series... Like that, from that first episode to the second episode, even I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, that's why I was like, this is the part where it was like started getting slow for me. I was
Right.
like, come on, you start off so strong, but now I'm
Yeah.
like, all right. I
So
don't
we
care
meet,
about
I'm going to butcher all these names because they're difficult. Findabar, Philavandrel, Philavandrel, and then with the elves. And so they're going along, and they meet the Deathless Mother. So the Deathless Mother is a huge part of this season. That was the most intriguing part of this episode. She's like, this Deathless Mother's offering the promise to these 3 women. And
Because they all have
who
visions
were
of
the
a
women?
red one. It was Yennefer,
Yennefer,
the elf.
Fringilla.
Fringilla.
Fringilla and the elf leader.
There's a black,
Francesca.
white, and a red robe.
What?
Because they all have different dreams, but it's like a red robe,
Well,
black
she's
one,
different
and white.
to every
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
And she's just promising, their dreams and their power. When really, this
She
is a creature.
feeds
We
off
learn later
of-
on, that this is a creature that feeds off pain and loss. And this is an empty promise. Shit's gonna blow up in your face. But the two women take it.
There's Francesca.
Frangilla
Frangilla
and Francesca take it. But Siri, she's super vulnerable because her whole thing is her power, right? That's what she has managed to cling on to in her life because of what she's been through.
Yeah.
And because we've got a lot of Yen's backstory, this really does resonate. And I would believe that she would get so desperate that she would be searching. But she makes the right decision there. She's not, ready to do whatever. Just tell me what to do, I'll do it, It's more mysterious. It's more, I have something to ask of you. And then later on, we know what that is. That's the Siri. She wants Siri. But, okay, so you got that. Then we get to Kaer Morhen. We see all the Witchers. And I don't know why. It just didn't feel like it did in the video game and shit like that. I just wish Kaer Morhen was a little cooler and there was more Witcher stuff, like maybe just one combined Witcher battle or something, just something where they bond, right? We know that they're friends and all the Witchers come here and gather, but I just needed a little bit more. Eskel arrives late, and it is because he was fighting Aleshi. Now, this is the big controversy because Eskel is a fan favorite and, in the books survives this. They decide to use Eskel as a plot point and kill off his character.
Well, they murdered his character, then they killed his character.
Yes, go ahead.
So he's supposed to be like all of the Witchers in this series are punk ass bitches minus Geralt.
That's
And
what
it
I'm
is
talking about. Why don't
Fucking
you help me out?
horrible.
Yeah.
Geralt is powerful, great, awesome, love it.
Yeah, but
Eskel is
everybody
supposed
else
to be like powerful too, and he is a punk ass bitch who dies
Even
to a
Vesemir
Leshy.
sometimes I feel like is a punk ass
Yeah,
bitch.
and then you got all these no-name buttholes, and in the season, at the very last season, they're dying to monsters that we know that they should have no issue
problem
when
with.
there's a ton of fucking witches around, and these are punk ass bitches that are dying to no-name characters, and they murdered our boy.
Yep.
And he's supposed to outlive everyone and take over and do all this other stuff, and they're like, no, he died. He did.
Does he take over? I haven't read that far into it, but I just know that Eskel is a fucking badass and he's cool. He's Geralt's companion, and it sucks that they used him as a plot point in order to. How did they use him? They used him as a jumping off point for Geralt to decide that Ciri needs training. You know what I mean? Because at first he kind of just bringing Ciri to protect her, and
he brings the Flucies.
And he brings the. Is that in this episode? I'm not sure that's in this episode.
was it?
But there's the Leshy that he fought, and this Leshy is like this really cool creature. It's like this fucking tree thing. And I guess if it bites you, it transfers its fucking treeness to him. So later on,
So
you
that's
see
a new
it growing
mutation.
from in his back.
But no one's Witcher sense goes off. No things
That's
are
what
That's what I was
vibrating.
wondering
So,
too,
like,
because
doesn't make any
everyone's
sense, right?
holding on.
Clutching
I was
on
like,
their
something's
thing.
going on. I was like, how do you not notice this or tell them?
Because
hey,
of the poor writing.
There's
Because
something
of what
going
Alex
on
was
on
saying.
my fucking back. Can you check it out?
Yeah. Well, he's
Tell me-
hiding it, Joe, and he's
No.
So
using it as
Eskel's
a
one of
Witcher.
those guys in a zombie movie that gets bit and then he doesn't tell anyone,
Yeah,
so
he's a
everyone
fucking
dies.
It's
asshole.
so
they
fucking stupid,
they
though.
assassinate his character, and this is one of the reasons why
Yeah,
I
that's what
gave
pissed
this
me off.
episode a 5 out of
Because it
10.
pissed me off. I did too.
Yeah,
I was
it
like,
pissed
just
me off.
fucking tell them you're there. This is what they do.
So it was cool. I gave it a 5 because half of it's cool because I like the imagery. I like the Leshy. I like when he turns into it. I just wish they would have used
Someone
a
else.
no-name Wisher.
Yes.
There's no reason it had to be Eskel. And so,
Yep.
fucking 5 out of 10. What do y'all think?
Yeah,
Is
no,
this the
I was
horse?
saying-
Did the horse show up?
I honestly think so because he
it's
leaves.
either
No, it
in
has
this
to be this
episode or
episode because
another
he
episode.
leaves and then he transforms with the. With
Oh,
the-
right. And
so,
he's
yeah.
like kissing up on
Yeah,
somebody.
yeah. So
okay.
he
Oh.
transforms. So it has to be this episode. This one was like probably like a 4 or 5 for me
Yeah.
because I was like, well, this doesn't make sense. Why is he doing that? It's
Yeah.
like No, this.
I like the Deathless
writing,
Mother
the
stuff,
writing.
but yeah, I didn't like the decision that they made.
I go with a 5 because I do like that cool scenes, like lighting up the sword and fights.
Yes, which is
So-
good. This
Yeah,
season,
this is
like,
like, I
there's
give it a
more.
5.
They have
Yeah,
more
it's like-
budget or something. Where because last I was like, why the fuck isn't Geralt using this sign and this sign
And he
and
uses
fucking and then
more.
here they
Yeah.
use it way more. I'm like, okay, this is
This is
sweet.
like I go for a 5. But
Okay.
even though they fucked up they fucked them up.
Alex,
3.
yeah, I get it. Okay, episode 3 is called
What is lost?
What is Lost? And this is series training. And I couldn't help but show my girlfriend. I said, oh, this is okay. So they're going to train series. So I show her the training scene from Witcher 3. And then we watch the training scene here. And I'm like, oh. Yeah, the game was.
It just looked like a video game or like Wipeout or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. So I was like, I mean, I could fucking make
Yeah,
it through
it's
that
like-
stupid shit.
It's like, what is this?
It just sucked. I hated it.
Wipeout.
Yeah. So series training, and then Tisia is she's dealing with loyalty issues here, and she's arousing kind of suspicions and stuff. And Stregobor, I did like this. Stregobor interrogates Yen. And then until she comes and intervenes, it's just
Yeah.
like, get away from her. You know, I was like, whoa, this is fucking crazy. The mage stuff, I like that mage stuff. And but they think Yen is obviously, a fucking enemy because of they're idiots. I don't know why. She fucking destroyed the Nilfgaardian army essentially, but they don't trust her, so she must prove her loyalty.
But you
and-
know why, right?
well, yeah.
Bad writing.
Yes.
Okay.
But she must prove her loyalty in
They
front of
said
them.
everything.
Oh, okay.
Fucking in front of the northern kingdoms, even the kings show up.
Yeah.
And she's got to kill Kahir. And instead, in the moment, and she knows this is coming, and you don't fucking tell Yennefer what to do. So I like this part. Yennefer's like, nah, fuck this. Instead, she sets free Kahir, and they run. And it's so, okay, well, fuck her. She's obviously a bad guy.
Let's kill her.
We must kill her. And then the elves settle in Sintra under the Nilfgaardian protection. And then at this point, so they've got this plot point where, the Nilfgaardians will protect the elves, so as long as the elves fight for...
Because that's what the mother creature told them to do. So.
And she's trying to gain power, Fringilla, and then the elves are just... She's kind of focused on her baby and the future of the elves, and they form a kind of a temporary alliance. And then Ciri, later on, as she's training, is attacked by Aleshi, who is immediately attacked by a bigger fucking creature, which I liked. Was
There's
like
always
this-
a bigger fish.
Yeah, always a bigger fish, this huge monster, and then of course we get a badass monster fight. Geralt kills the monster. So I like this one. This one much better than the last episode. We get that monster fight. We get Geralt being a badass, and we get more of the political intrigue. So that, for me, was an 8 out of 10.
Is this one where he walks into the lake?
No,
Okay.
no, that's later
So I
on.
was like, oh, okay, cool. When
Yeah,
we
we'll get there. We'll
Yep.
get there.
Okay.
So this is 8 out of 10.
They just kind of run into each other for me.
I know. That's episode 6, Joe.
6. Got it. This one,
So
it
this
wasn't
is
too bad. I'm
proving
gonna go with
loyalty,
the
big monster
I would say
at the
probably like
end.
a 7 for me on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 6. I don't buy any of the stuff they're doing with Yennefer and the whole she's like freeing prisoners and trying to escape that. I mean, I don't see why she'd have loyalty to him in any way or what her motivations are, and they never go anywhere with it. So
Yeah, they should have like did more with that. I guess she's like, well, fuck these people if they're not gonna believe me and they're gonna force me into this. Like, it's a no-win situation. What I did like it because of no-win situation. She fucking kills him and says, look, she's fucking evil and she will kill. I was like, but that's what you asked her to do. So it doesn't make sense. You're right. Okay. Anyways, episode 4, which is
Redanian intelligence.
Yes.
that's really the episode name.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So Redanian intelligence. Triss arrives at Kaer Morhen to help train Ciri. Triss.
Oh no, that's not true.
I know. I know it's not.
Yeah.
It's-
When if she
I
first
have
walked in,
problems
I was
with
like,
the
who's this? It's like,
casting.
she's trying. Bless
Honestly,
your heart.
in the books, at least in some of these books, she's relatively doesn't have a whole lot. And Triss has never been a huge character. The video games kind of made her much better and much bigger, and that's where we come from. So that's why we're disappointed
Yeah,
because she should look like the Triss in the video games, and I wish there was an actual reason to go team Yennefer, team Triss, Here, it's just Team Yennefer. There's no Team Triss. There's absolutely no team. Anyway, so she's helping, and then they realize Ciri has elder blood. And this elder blood can actually make more witches.
And flowers.
All the witches are dying, right, because the flowers grow near elder blood.
That's sweet.
And it is fucking sweet. And they try to make a
garden.
That's where she fell down.
Yen and Kahir escape, where elves are being prosecuted throughout the land because they are now working for Nilfgaardians. So wherever there's elves, there's like underground railroads and stuff to get the elves to Sintra. And because, they think all elves are spies now. And so you've got that sort of subplot of them being persecuted. And then you have, what else? Let's see. Dara. Dara is an elf that we saw be friends with Ciri. And Dara's subplot is so lost.
This
weird.
one for me was just
He's
a filler. I'm just like,
it is.
Meh.
Yeah.
I didn't care about this one.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's also the awkward, like, Triss is like, hey, you want to come back to my bedroom with
Oh,
me?
yeah. She's like,
And then-
well, I needed you just that night. I needed you.
I don't know.
Yeah,
and then you have...
you don't really feel like there's much there. But
connection.
at that point, Geralt has already made his choice with Yennefer.
Oh,
Jennifer's
shit, I
dead.
would've
That was
too.
never.
He
in
knows,
his-
he knows
too.
Yennefer's dead. He is assuming
Yeah,
that
he's
she's
assuming,
she's
yeah.
dead, and
Yeah.
Triss knows that she's alive. And
Damn, Geralt.
you have a
He
person
said,
that
"Get the fuck. You ain't the real Triss."
yeah he knows
Yes.
that
You was
she's
the real Triss. I'll hook up with you.
But they do this stupid like 5-year-old writing thing where it's like this girl who knows that Yennefer is not dead. She knows because she just got into a tub with her. Remember, they just got into a tub, and then she meets up with Geralt, and the Geralt's like, "Oh," and he's moping around because Yennefer's dead, and then none of them talk about anything because the writing is bad.
Fuck, I can't remember because some
Triss
of the
gets in a
episodes.
tub
What
with
the fuck?
Yennefer, like
I
they're all
know,
getting naked in the tub, except for no one
was
gets
that
naked
a
in the show.
flashback?
No.
What? I'm okay. Well, all right. Yeah. Okay. So
Bad writing.
Bad writing. So Dara is sort of spying for
Yeah.
Sintra or on Sintra, and then Jaskier is revealed to be the Sandpiper or whatever,
Yeah.
and he's helping elves, and I fucking love his
New song's
song
a
here.
banger.
Goddamn, this Jaskier is done 10 out of 10. He's done well here. Burn, butcher, burn.
Yeah.
But we all know what he really means.
Yeah, Witcher.
Witcher, because he's hurt by Geralt.
You're supposed to be my friend.
the boyfriend and boyfriend, and he hurt him. Jaskier is helping the elves, so he actually helps Yen and Ciri, and including Dara, to help board the ship before he has actually attacked himself, and that's when this episode ends. It's like, oh, what? Yennefer's like, should I go
Because they
help
ruined.
Jaskier?
They
Or
were critiquing his
his
lyrics.
So they really kind of do
He's like,
Dandelion
excuse me.
a little dirty here. Kind of stupid, like really stupid. Like this is cartoon level. Again, terrible fucking writing. You are smuggling people who are going to be tortured and killed.
Yeah.
Underground Railroad shit. And then some guy insults your song,
He's
and
like,
you
"Am I
risk
gonna say
everyone's
it?"
life
Yeah.
on board
right.
Yeah,
over
I'm gonna
stupid
say
shit.
it. I'm gonna
Come
say
the
it.
fuck on. Who writes this shit? And I know the answer is
it's funny.
be better.
I don't know. That might have happened in the books. I don't think I've read that part in Blood of Elves, or if that's a thing.
It would be
But
bad in the
I
book,
like-
too.
No, I kind of like that
He's
he
gonna
is so
threaten
full of himself that he has to get in the last word. That seems like Jaskier to me that he gets in the last word. But I agree. This was an underwhelming
Like, I
episode.
think that
It's
would
a
have been
5
better.
out of 10.
That would have been better if he's like, well, they just started talking about the lyrics. I was like, well, what do you do? What do you think about this? And they're like, hey, what are you doing? We're trying to smuggle in. It's like, oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
Something like that. Some simple,
Something.
as opposed to like, well, no, I'm gonna have to fight this guy. I was like, okay.
And then a guy
Okay,
literally
so-
dies and gets beat to
5
death.
out of 10 for me because I agree with what y'all are saying.
4.
What would you say?
4.
Okay. Moving on to episode 5, which is
Turn your back.
Turn your back.
okay. This is the fire mage. He's freed, and there's somebody hires this guy, and he's like, we don't know who's hiring him. And then we do the Jaskier song again. This one made me really confused at the beginning. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
It's all the same
did
extras,
I
too.
already watch this? And well, it was because it was from a different angle, Alex, and it was the fire mage was there the whole time, and he's kind of hunting it down, and that's who captured Jaskier from the last episode. And I really like this one because Yennefer comes in all drunk and helps Dandelion escape. So I was like, man, that's a great scene.
Yeah, I
where
liked
she
it.
fucking blows all her alcohol in his face when he's trying to be like, I'm a fire mage. Yeah, do this stupid
Every
thing.
time he came in, I was like, it just reminded me of like what was it, West Side Story? He was
yeah.
coming in snapping. I was like, oh god, here we go.
Shit.
Yennefer just spits in his face, and he's like, she fucks him up, and she rescues Dandelion. And then we also get a dream walk from Triss. So Triss actually does something, and she fucking kind of explores Ciri's subconscious and her ancestry and history, where she has a
goes
scene of all
wrong.
of her friends in there, but then there's some shit happening. It's like, what is going on?
They're
And
not
we
supposed
get
to see
scenes
us.
of this elf who is holding this baby, and she's telling them this baby, these fucking humans betray us, and you're going to be the key and all this other stuff. And so while simultaneously, Asia, the Geralt meets up with, forget this mage's guy's name, Isidril or something. I don't know. Yennefer's
Jen's
old
elf.
boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
You know that guy that's doing like the research and shit?
Yeah, yeah.
And then he's like, oh, yeah, I'm only here because of a girl, Yenny. And he's like, Yen. Because they all have the pet names for her, and they realize that they're both in love with Yennefer, and they both have had things, but they investigate the monoliths together. And then we get more of this Ciri can bring back the Witchers, and she's like, I'll do it on the one condition that I can be a Witcher myself, and I'll go through the process first. And so Vesemir agrees
need
because it's her
more.
decision, and Triss is all like, it's got to be her decision for this other thing, and so he twists that and makes it her decision there. He's like, it's her decision. And but then Geralt shows up last minute, and my girlfriend was like, how the fuck did Geralt get there? I was like, well, they don't show it enough, but there's portals, mages. So that mage portaled Geralt back to where he was, and he manages
Well, every
to
character in the
just
series
stop.
fast travels.
Yeah. And this
Part of
one,
the game.
so this is one of the episodes that I did like in terms of writing and reveals. And I thought, and while there's no fighting in this episode, I thought this episode was still good. You got the Fire Mage, you got Yennefer helping Dandelion, you got the Dream Walk, you got the Geralt and this guy investigating the monoliths, like what the fuck is going on here. You got the Ciri backstory, and then the Geralt rescuing Ciri and making her realize, because Ciri just needs a place to be, and she wants to forget about stuff and find a new purpose. And Geralt's like, this is not the way, because she could have died, and she probably would have died, honestly, because making Witchers is so stupid. And we saw that from the anime. Like, that's the stupidest way to
Here's a
make
stick,
Witchers.
get the fuck out.
Here's
I
a
was
stick,
like, oh,
fight the
God.
most dangerous creature in the fucking thing, and then go through all these processes where you're going to die and only the strongest survive. Anyway, she probably would have died. Anyway, so I really like this episode, and I would have give this one probably an 8 out of 10.
I would give this one a 7. Like, yeah, there wasn't a lot of fighting, but there was a lot of crucial points that, like, for the story that helped you explain what's going on to further the story. So I'm gonna give this one a 7.
I think this one was pretty good, other than I don't like anything they did with Vesemir in this episode at all. I think that characters withholding the seriousness of consequences and like what is going to happen is another bad writing. Where Vesemir doesn't say, girl, you're going to die. This thing kills the majority of people.
He kind of
He
does.
does.
He kinda does.
But he doesn't.
he
I guess
says it.
Alex wants him to be like, no, you will die.
You think Vesemir would potentially sacrifice Geralt's daughter with Geralt not there? You're
For-
fucking out of your mind.
to continue the Witchers.
But
If
he
you
didn't
saw
even wanna
how many
continue?
dead Witchers he's gone through and had to mourn, I think that he
Apparently-
would. But at the end, you can see not even he is
Yeah.
for that. But it
Desperate
has to be
times calls
Ciri's
for
choice.
desperate
But that's the
measures.
thing is they made that shit up because apparently, according to all the people that read the books, Vesemir does not want more Witchers. They just made it up for the show.
Oh,
Fuck.
well, shit. I don't know.
So it's like they wildly change all this stuff, and then they don't even write it in a way that's satisfying for me. Look, I still like this episode. It is better than all the other ones.
I can see that if you've read the books and it's
Yeah.
not following the way the
Yeah.
books is, you're gonna hate it. But you know what? Fuck it. To me, that's like I don't care because I have 3 different Witchers to appreciate. I have the video games to appreciate. I have the books to appreciate, and I have this series to appreciate. Now, when they make a wrong decision,
Like
we get to
Escrow.
bitch about it,
Yeah.
like this. Yeah, in Escrow. Okay,
Escrow.
so what did you give it?
6.
6. Okay, so moving on to episode 6, Joe. This is the one that you were talking
Dear
about.
friend.
So anyway, a monster attacks right away. Fucking hated the fact that it
0 out of 10.
manages to scratch Roach and fucking
I
Roach
hated it.
dies.
0 out of 10.
Hated it.
Okay.
No.
So I have some good news for you, Joe, because I hated it just as much. Made
He's
me want to
coming back.
cry. It was the most emotional moment,
Roach
and
is
it was
coming
Roach.
back.
It was the horse. Well, it turns out that Geralt. It's not just he didn't just have one Roach.
Of course, he's like
He
100.
names all of his
horse.
horses Roach.
Yeah.
So there's been like 5 Roaches. So that helps a little bit.
You telling me there's like millions of Shamus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No
There's
way.
not been. There's
No
Joe,
way.
I hate to tell you this. So anyway,
God
he names
damn
all
it.
on this road. And then also in this episode, the fire mage attacks.
Because he knows
Vesemir-
what Karamarian is, too.
Yeah,
Everyone
apparently
knows where
he
this
followed
is.
somebody.
There's
There's a sign.
Witcher.
Which
and
is
then,
this way?
and then the Witcher, Geralt, and Ciri go to Nenneke, and Yennefer sees her and meets Geralt there. And later on, we learn about Yennefer's betrayal, and that's how the Fire Mage is there as well. But in this instance, we think it's just a coincidence, and we get the reuniting between Geralt and Yennefer. And then we get the stuff about Ciri could potentially break the cycle of hatred. And then in this episode, we also get the elf baby born, and all the elves are fucking super happy. And then the fire mage attacks them at that location. And Yennefer, while Geralt is doing this badass fucking scene, and they've really improved their camera work and stuff. It's really awesome. He manages to beat everybody up. And Yennefer takes Ciri into this back room, and I'm like, just wait there. Geralt's got it. And Geralt got it. And he goes over there and then he sees fucking Yennefer was rightfully trying to portal them out.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the thing, and that's fine because she doesn't know whether he's going to win or not. But once he wins, she has Ciri go through the portal, and then Geralt's like, stop. I won. And then Yennefer goes through the portal too, and he's like, fuck. You know, because
She's
he was
gonna betray me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yennefer essentially betrays Geralt and
Yep.
takes Ciri
To sacrifice her.
To sacrifice her.
Because she wants her powers.
And then at the same time, the mage dude goes into this eccentric bookstore and learns from these crazy characters that that Ciri is essentially a generational weapon. They're looking at her bloodlines, and there's shit missing and stuff not right.
Well, the story from the first episode is the story that gets told where there's you remember he plays the thing in the beginning where it's talking about the man and then the elf woman, and they have a baby, but there was betrayal, and then that's bloodline leads all the way to Ciri.
And then at the end, Triss is very shocked by what her dream walk revealed, and she's shaken, and she actually tells Vesemir what's up with Ciri, and then she even goes and tells her mage friend, motherfucking Trish over here, the motherfucking narc, telling everybody about Ciri. And, it's like, God damn it, Trish, because it's Triss.
No,
this
she's
is
Trish.
Yeah, she's Trish.
She's
it's
Trish.
a rip-off Trish. Anyways, so
Trish from Wish.
I really like this episode. We also got Geralt, being a badass and fucking killing that. What do they call it? Sendo. I forget what when he walks out in the middle of the water and then he fights this thing. So I really like this one, despite Roach dying. I would give this one a 9 out of 10. I think it's one of the other big, good episodes with
Same,
action
I agree
and-
with all
and
things.
things.
Points. I'm going to go with an 8 for this one, though.
Okay.
1 out of 10 they kill Roach. Justice.
No,
Yeah.
come on.
I was super sad.
Come on.
It's 6.
Okay. 7, and then we have episode 7, which is...
Voleth Mir? I'm
Yeah.
butchering the name.
That's the
Voleth-Mir.
witch thing that this subplot that's been going on with the Deathless Mother. So Jaskier or Geralt frees Jaskier from prison. They have a moment. It's fun. And then Geralt realizes that Yen is in league with the Deathless Mother. He gets help from his dwarven crew, who
I like him.
I like them a lot, Joe, but they look hilarious in battle. And I had to tell my girlfriend, I was like, in the books, they're a little more stocky, they're a little more muscular, and they are badass fighters because they don't look like they can,
But they were
fight
holding their
effectively.
own.
But they're holding their own. Anyways, and then so the baby is born, and obviously, Fringilla is like, okay, so we're gonna, fight for the elves are like, nah, man, we got a new baby. We're just gonna do our own thing now. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck, man? The elves are stupid as shit. Because like you don't fucking pledge allegiance and then have a baby born. Anything that happens to you at this point, it's your fucking fault.
Why the fuck would you have the baby on some motherfucking room? She's like, oh, this is my precious cargo.
'Cause they're
It's gonna
fucking
stay
morons.
with
I hate
me.
them.
Stay with me.
Right.
He's
And she
like,
cares
watch.
about that baby so much that she's gonna leave the baby out of her sight all the time.
Yeah.
Nah, it's fucking so
like, what
stupid.
the fuck?
Anyway, so
That pissed me
the
off.
elves are like, we're gonna focus on ourselves, and Fringilla's like, what the fuck, girl?
So
we
we
even
had a
had that
pact.
moment earlier in
We
another
had a
episode. We had a
pact.
pact where we were good, and
You know
it's
what costs
not.
to feed thousands of elves that aren't
It's
farming?
It's blood over friendship, and
Suck, bitch,
And
I'm
she's
out.
like, what the fuck? And then Ciri, she fucking
Well, Yennefer finds out
actually
that she's,
touches
like,
Yennefer and finds out that. And by the way, we forgot to mention Yennefer's help training Ciri, and Ciri's, they do this where to get across the river, and Ciri and Yennefer realize, holy fuck,
It's
Ciri
like,
might
hey,
be more
stop.
powerful than
It's,
me.
like, bleeding everywhere. I was like, damn.
Yeah. But she sees Yennefer's betrayal of her, and in that moment
right
she becomes
before.
emotional, has an outburst, which brings a patrol, and then just then Geralt and his friends show up to rescue them. And I really liked it because Geralt then fucking drew the blade.
Yes,
on
I
Yennefer.
love that part. It's like, everyone leave. You stay behind. I was like, oh,
He
shit.
holds her.
I got to kill
He
a
holds her
monster.
there.
I was like, damn. That's what you get, though.
Yep.
No, but he forgave her immediately.
I know.
Yeah.
They should've- well,
So
time was running out.
he loves her quite a bit. But anyway, the elf baby is murdered.
Yep.
That's what you were pointing out there. And this gives the witch lady Volithmir now has the strength to sort of break free. He realizes that Yennefer has made that pact. He's like, say the words so that they're both teleported to that area, and he can go fucking beat up on that walking house from Final Fantasy VII. But unfortunately, because of the elf baby being murdered and all the elves going through their pain, she has enough to escape the little area before Geralt can actually go kill her. So this was the culmination of the Deathless Mother subplot.
Yes, and then at the end, Ciri gets possessed.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
the
that's
next
the end.
episode she gets possessed.
No.
Or right at the end she gets
Right
possessed?
at
Yeah,
the
right
end.
at the end, she gets
Okay,
possessed.
so this one is 7 out of 10. So episode 7 out of 10 for me. What
I'll
about
go for an 8.
you? Okay.
Wow.
I
what
like
about
that
you?
little fight with the. I love that squad. All right.
Oh, yeah.
That squad
they're
is
pretty,
amazing.
they're
I
pretty
want to
cool.
see more of them. All right.
Yeah, 6.
Okay,
6 or-
episode 8, the final episode. So we get a possessed Ciri, and then we get the Basilisk Battle. So it turns out there's another monolith in Kaer Morhen, and she's able to break free and summon some of these basilisks. And unfortunately, whereas the CGI had been working in a lot of the other ones, I think it works a little less here. And, you think in your mind how badass these Witchers can be and fight. And it's something we pointed out in the anime, where it's like, this is how it's done. You can do some badass
Yes.
fights with Witchers. Unfortunately, here, all the Witchers feel like fucking little bitches. And
they
they're
die.
not using their powers. Geralt's really the only one using his powers the way he should, and the other ones are fucking dumb as shit as they're in this battle, and it's just awkward to have them fight these basilisks. Francesca kills the human babies.
That's
Oh,
In
yeah.
Redania, though.
Yeah, that's crazy.
She goes all the way to Redania and kills all the fucking human babies when it's like,
She burns them alive, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
she does some kind of fire magic.
Yeah, because like you see the baby. The baby's like burning. It has like their little insignia
Thing,
sign.
and then, yeah, it's.
She's
pretty fucked up.
crushed.
Yeah.
And then
fuck.
Yennefer offers herself to the witch to be a host, and that sort of is the way that the witch breaks free, or the witch is expelled from Ciri's body. It's a combination of things, because in Ciri's head she's having the conflict of she's back home, she sees her mother and father, and she's like, wait a
Trapped
minute,
inside.
but something's not right here, and Geralt's calling out to her. So a combination of Geralt calling out to her, this is your home, and while Vesemir and all these other Witchers are trying to block and keep her contained and fight the basilisks. But I think it was Yennefer's sacrifice of herself that made
Yeah,
that
she
go
cut
forward.
herself, and then the thing left.
Yeah, it was, and then simultaneously they're transported to an unknown world. And this was the theory from the mage dude and Geralt that there are other spheres. They talk about other spheres that have come together and they're spilling the monsters out into our sphere and stuff, and that's fascinating. And this is where some of these entities have actually originated from. So the entity gets to go back to its sphere, and then we see the Wild Hunt fucking galloping towards them, and I'm like, man, that's cool. I hope we get to see the Wild Hunt and Geralt confront that, and then they come back from that universe or sphere, and Yen's powers are back, as she has immediately shown, like healing a Witcher, and I was like, holy shit, they should have made that a little bit bigger thing. But I was like, wait,
it's like that was like episode after episode. She's trying to get her power back. So I got it back.
Yeah,
that was too quick. Like, explain yourself.
It just didn't
explain
come across.
Yourself.
It was because she was willing to
they made it up for the
sacrifice.
show, and
It was willing. She was willing to make the sacrifice, and then apparently that's supposed to be all is forgiven with Ciri. I tried to fucking murder you. I tried to
because Vesemir
sacrifice
was
you.
gonna fucking kill her. He's like, you're killing all my fucking Witchers.
Oh yeah, at some
like,
point
no,
he's
it's
tries
still
to go there.
Ciri. He's like, fuck that.
Yeah. It gets pretty wild there, and
But it's also they had to let go of the hate.
yeah.
So
So
like,
it
power
does
of
make
love.
so they bring it back full
Right.
circle. They mess with the characters' motivations and what they would do, but it does end up in a good place.
Yeah.
Finally, but then after that battle, and it's everybody in this goddamn world is after Ciri because the secret is out. Motherfuckers can't keep their mouth shut. Now that person knows, this person knows, all these mages, and everybody knows.
Yep.
Everybody wants her, and Geralt is like, we
I have
cannot,
to protect
we
her.
cannot
We-
stay
yeah,
here
we have
at
to
Kaer
leave.
Morhen. We gotta leave. And then finally, sort of the last one is Emir. The Emperor is coming, and by the way, Fringilla has a badass scene where like these fucking generals are disrespecting her, and she needs to take power. It's
Yes.
a great fucking scene where she fucking freezes
Eye
them.
gouge.
And she literally kills them while they're fucking like. So I was like, damn, this scene is awesome.
Yep. Love that. one.
And she kind of takes power back for herself. She's like, this is what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to run this. And so Kairan come up with this thing that we'll take credit for the baby killing because that, sows fear amongst our enemies and shit. And we'll take credit for this and this and this. Well, it turns out Amir's like, you motherfucking liars. I killed the fucking baby, and summon my daughter, and he reveals that Ciri is his daughter, and that's partly why he sent his armies in there and assigned him to go find her.
I think they're going to change what his plans are. That whole no, not marry the daughter thing.
Yeah.
yeah, I would say so.
And then he has Fringilla and Kahir arrested so their fate is up in the air. So another good episode. I give this one an 8 out of 10.
I give this one a 3. This was one I actually had the most trouble with. This is one where I think that they disrespected Witchers entirely. The whole basis of the show are these badass monster hunters, and I think they did a fucking terrible job showing that the Witchers fight. Even generic wingless basilisks.
I gave it too much of an excuse just because I like the show so
Yeah.
much and the budget, and
That's
I was
how
like,
I felt.
this is not gonna happen like the anime.
Yeah,
but-
I also hate when storytellers have someone be possessed and then someone is like, "No, use the power of love, come back to us, fight in your." It's like this is an ageless demon that is able to hold down the most 3 powerful sorceresses in the world, and it's like me whispering in your ear, like, "No, fight it."
That's how it
You
is
ever
in the
seen
book.
Care
I
Bears,
don't get
Alex?
how it's
Care Bears.
There was a
Story.
sewer child orgy in the book, and they removed it because it was
Yes,
bad. It's like
yes.
you can remove bad things from the books when you adapt it to other mediums, and I didn't like that ending.
Okay.
I don't like that Amir publicly in front of thousands of people says, "This is who I am. Bring me my daughter." It just kind of ruins the whole.
And it was the exact same actor, right, from her father. It's her father.
Yeah, from
the
early
flashbacks. And
Yeah.
Yeah, ultimately, I don't think that the Deathless Mother storyline, which was unfortunately the whole overarching bad guy thing, ultimately worked for me. I don't get that
Yeah,
Geralt
I could see
forgives
that.
Yen for the whole "I'm gonna murder her" for
I
my
don't
own
think he's
thing.
forgiven her yet. I think that you're gonna get some of that in season 3.
I hope so. I just didn't get any of that here, and so like this show did not end in a satisfying way where I felt like I'm excited to see where this goes. More like this is just like, all right, I guess I'm gonna have to watch 4 more seasons of this.
Yeah, for me, I'm probably going to go with a 6. I was probably at a 7, but after everything, 6 for me. I didn't like the whole possession thing. The fighting could have been a little bit better. Yes, I did like it, and obviously Vesemir and the two badass. Everyone else is like, oh, somebody died. I don't know who the fuck that was. Whatever.
Jim
Jim
the
died,
Witcher.
and then Billy died. I don't know what the fuck happened. But 6.
True.
Whenever I think of the Wild Hunt, I think of like Frost. Though, isn't that like in the video game? Or
Huh?
Oh, you think of like Ice Planet type stuff?
Oh, where yeah.
yeah, because like usually whenever the Frost is coming in the video game, well, like,
It's
Wild
not the
Hunt
video
is,
game though, Joe.
Well, I'm just saying that's what I incorporated.
you.
But then like they're over here, is like, wait, what are they in Mars? And then Wild Hunt comes, is like, that is supposed to be cold.
Get
But,
your ass to Mars.
all right, well, 6 for me.
Okay, yeah. So I think this, up and down in this season, but more ups than downs, though there were some downs. And I am
Still a good
excited
watch
towards
overall.
season 3. I'm just fascinated by it, and I'm hoping that it does get better and that Geralt has more input. Originally, just to show you, to Alex's point, the writers had Geralt saying nothing about Roach's death. That's how they wrote it, and Geralt and Henry Cavill was like, no. I am going to say something about Roach's death, and one of the writers was like, okay, come tomorrow with your own interpretation, and he came with that beautiful tribute that he gave to Roach, and he said that beautiful eulogy. And that was all Henry Cavill.
Good.
And they
See,
were
then
gonna
we give
they were
more
just gonna
freedom.
move on.
Give more freedom.
Let him like rewrite and
Yeah.
touch up the script,
Yeah,
please.
I hope in season 3
Listen to
Henry
him.
gets a
Listen
little
to
more
him.
control over
Yeah.
his character and some of these changes, because you're right. I don't think he would have been down for some of the changes that they made. But we'll see what happens in season 3. Maybe I might get sick of their bullshit if they continue doing some of the bullshit. But more budget, more money. The show's doing well, and give Henry some more control, and I
Yeah.
think we'll be back on track.
Hopefully.
The 3rd season, probably obviously based on more books, we might get more Wild Hunt stuff like that we saw in the video game. Whereas Witcher 3 video game resolved that, to a certain extent. It's not resolved here. They don't encounter the Wild
Not
Hunt.
yet.
They don't fight
They gotta
anybody.
stretch it out.
Yeah,
More
Kaer
seasons.
Morhen in a final stand or anything like that. We're probably going to see some of that in season 3. So anyways, that's it, guys. Hope you liked that exhaustive discussion. If you did, please consider supporting us on Patreon. They help us make these videos. YouTube join button and subscribe. So thank you, guys. We'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show.
Bye, guys.